On the news, President Buhari jets to South Africa for reconciliatory talks with Ramaphosa. Nigerian army rescues Boko Haram abductees in Borno State. And Rwanda charges 25 for attempted coup. Hello and welcome. You're watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Annetta Philip. President Muhammadu Buhari has departed Abuja for Pretoria to kick off a three-day official visit to South Africa. The trip comes on the heels of recent xenophobic attacks, which led to the evacuation of hundreds of Nigerians, as well as the exchange of visits by special envoys of both countries. During the trip, Buhari will hold a bilateral meeting with his South African counterpart, President Cyril Ramaphosa, where both leaders will find common ground for building harmonious relations among their respective citizens. Buhari will also hold a town hall meeting with Nigerians living in South Africa before heading back home on Friday. The Nigerian army says it has rescued some civilians from Boko Haram captivity in Gubio, Borno State. According to a statement from the army, the abductees were rescued following a failed attack by the insurgents on the military. After successfully repelling the attack, the soldiers recovered various weapons, including one gun truck, 2 AK-47 rifles, and 1 anti-aircraft from the insurgents. In another development, the army said it arrested a pickup truck conveying suspected terrorists and rustled cattle in Mada in Kondga local government area of Borno State. According to the force, preliminary investigation reveals that one of the suspects and a non-governmental organization operating in Borno had been communicating at various times. The army's claims comes as the Nigerian military launched a crackdown on some non-governmental organizations in the northeast, accusing them of aiding the insurgents. Meanwhile, the Katsina state government has successfully repatriated 23 victims of human trafficking who were forced into slavery in Burkina Faso. According to a press statement released by the state government, the return was facilitated by the Nigerian embassy in Burkina Faso. The victims include 13 men from Kankara local government area, while the remaining 10 men were said to be originally from Zamfara state. Governor Aminu Masari, who welcomes the victims on Tuesday night, explained that the 2 other victims refused to come back home. The returnees were allegedly lured out of Katsina by one Usman from Kankara local government area, who promised them lucrative jobs abroad but sold them to a female trafficker in Benin Republic. Now, that woman later resold them to another trafficker in the country. Still on security, lawmakers at the Nigerian Senate have condemned the growing rate of insecurity on Nigerian roads. Senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye, raised the motion during plenary on Wednesday, noting that the Lokoja-Abuja highway is one of the most affected. Senate President Ahmed Lawan, on his part, recommended that the nation's security architecture be restructured.
The issue of kidnapping and banditry is virtually everywhere. It used to be limited to some section of this country, but it has even come to Abuja, where we used to feel it was safe. Even in Asokoro, a girl was kidnapped in Asokoro at 7 p.m. So the Abuja is not safe, and the small villages are also not safe and nationwide.
The time has come more than ever before for us on the top of our voices, call on our security agencies and the federal government to save the lives and properties of Nigerians. Mr. President, it is becoming traditional, it is becoming ritualistic, the issue of kidnap, not only on an Abuja-Lokoja road, in every part of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The bandits or kidnappers use telephone lines to negotiate. So it means there will always be a lead to where or who they are. So we need a committee on communications, take it up with the Ministry of Communications and see how far they are going ahead with what the minister said they will do. The last count I was told 2 million lines have been blocked. I think we should go far beyond 2 million lines. But our committee on security agencies will definitely have to ensure that these security agencies will do something.
The police have uncovered another baby factory in the Solo area of Lagos State. Spokesperson for the force, Bala Elkanah, said the factory was uncovered after about 7 pregnant ladies escaped from there on Monday night. According to the spokesman, 5 of the girls hail from Imo State, 1 from Abia, while the other hailed from Rivers. This comes just days after the force rescued 19 pregnant women from a baby factory in the Kotu area of Lagos. The Department of State Services, DSS, has confirmed the arrest of ex-chairman of the Pension Reform Task Team, PRTT, Abdul Rashid Maina. Spokesperson for the force, Peter Afunaya, in a statement released on Wednesday, explained that Maina was arrested on September 30 in Abuja following a joint operation between the DSS and EFCC. According to Afunaya, Maina was arrested in the company of his 20-year-old son, Faisal, who unsuccessfully tried to resist the arrest. Following the arrest, the DSS recovered items include a pistol with live ammunition, a bulletproof Range Rover SUV, a BMW saloon car, foreign currencies, a Phantom 7 drone, and sensitive documents from the suspect. Afunaya adds that the suspect and the recovered items will be handed over to the EFCC for further investigations and appropriate necessary actions. It is time for women to be actively involved in politics and the development of Nigeria. This was the call of stakeholders while speaking to newsmen in Abuja on Tuesday. They also described Nigeria as a nation of resilient people who have stood unified in the face of several challenges. Stakeholders, including the APC National Chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, say the country has made giant strides in the past 59 years and that it gives an assurance of greater days to come.
God will strengthen our women folk to continue to struggle to take their rightful place in nation building. We're appealing to all Nigerians to give Mr. President all the necessary support so that we can have peace and unity. Nigerian women are peace lovers. All we are crying for is peace. Let's give peace a chance.
Over the years, you can see that Nigeria is forging ahead. The unity of purpose, the commonness, oneness, and we are building and forging ahead. We are together as a common entity, Nigeria.
Nigeria is much more than the sum total of all the problems that people talk about. I am very confident that the future can only be better.
We are on the right track, and like I said, we have a transformational leadership that is laying the basic foundational structure for this country to stand on in the years ahead. We have had 3 major epochal periods in terms of the trajectory of our development. No country develops without institutions. No country develops without the right infrastructure. Under this precedent, we're seeing a regeneration of our transport system, both the rail and the roads, and other various sectors. Abandoned projects 10, 12 years ago are being resuscitated and completed. That's what I'm talking about. You see, you connect those 3 dots. We're laying that solid foundation for the superstructure we need to be able to compete in the 21st century digital economy.
Barely a week after President Muhammadu Buhari approved the appointment of Justice Benedict Kanyip as the acting president of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, NICN, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed, has sworn him in as NICN's acting president. As the most senior judge, Kanyip was appointed on Wednesday after the retirement of 65-year-old Babatunde Adejumo on October 1st. After Kanyip took his oath of office, the CJN urged him to exhibit leadership qualities that would distinguish him to be able to shoulder the responsibilities given to him. Tanko Mohammed also pleaded for the cooperation of the members of staff of the NICN in finding solutions to the problems of the court. An indigene of Kaduna State, Kanyib has served as a judge of the National Industrial Court for 2 4-year terms. The Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Kano State has on Wednesday upheld the victory of Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its candidate Abba Yusuf had challenged the victory of the All Progressives Congress (APC), but the tribunal declared that the petition of the main opposition lacked merit. In the judgment read for over 3 hours at the Kano State High Court, chairman of the 3-member panel, Justice Halima Shamaki, dismissed the PDP's petition seeking the nullification of Ganduje's victory in the March 9 governorship elections. Justice Simon Amobeda of the Federal High Court sitting in Calabar, Cross River State, has set Friday, October 4th, 2019, for its ruling on the bail application for journalist and rights activist Agba Jalingo. Jalingo is facing trial for alleged treason, terrorism, and attempts to topple the Cross River State government. In his arguments, the counsel to Jalingo, Atta Ochinke, cited Section 161, Subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, demanding that his client be admitted to bail. But on Friday, the court will also rule on the preliminary objection on the bail application filed by the prosecution counsel, Dennis Tehemba. Jalingo was arrested in his Lagos residence by the Nigerian police on August 22nd, 2019, after he published an article which sought the whereabouts of the 500 million naira approved and released for the floating of the Cross River State Microfinance Bank. He has been in police custody ever since, and the Cross River State government has been accused of masterminding Jalingo's arrest. They have so far repeatedly denied this. We'll go on a short break now, and we'll bring you updates on the world of business, sports, and the foreign scene right after this.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
You're welcome back. Now talking business with us is Fidelia Aguncha. Hello, Fidelia.
Hi, Aneta.
So we see that travelers along a very popular road in Nigeria would be heaving a sigh of relief very soon. Please tell us why that is.
Well, you're very correct, Aneta. The federal government has approved a sum of 15.7 billion naira for the construction of the Suleja-Minna-Lambata Road and the Ibadan-Lagere-Ilesha bypass. Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, announced this on Wednesday after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. He said the approval is an upward review from the initial funds allocated for the project.
The first one, Ibadan Lagere Ilesha bypass, 22 kilometers. Contract was awarded in 2010. No budgetary funding and all of that, so the rates have become obsolete. Contractor wants new rates, so that has necessitated a revision of the rates by 3.165 billion, and that means the old contract price of 6.7 billion has moved now to 9.8 billion. The same is true of the Suleja-Minalambata road. This is 101 kilometers.
Well, the Senate has directed 3 of its committees to investigate 7 international oil companies over their alleged refusal to remit about $21 billion to the National Treasury. The decision of the upper chamber was sequel to a motion by the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources, Ifeanyi Uba, who drew the attention of his colleagues to the IOC's alleged refusal to honor the provisions of the Production Sharing Contract Act. Now, the Act of the National Assembly, according to the senator, regulates the sharing of additional revenue between the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and the various oil companies operating in the country.
The federal government has lost about $21 billion, which is equivalent to 7 trillion naira, over the period of 20 years, due to the failure to review and amend the PXC Act, as stated by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources following the meeting of the Federal Executive Council on the 14th day of December 2017. Senate knows that Nigeria, having lost trillions of naira due to non-review of the PXC Act, stands to gain an additional sum of 30 billion monthly, 360 billion annually, if the Act is reviewed and amended, which will boost our revenue base.
I believe that Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria may be an oversight to him, because this is really an absolute corruption. It may be an oversight, and I believe with this motion, he will work hard on this to make sure that not just to start recouping what we are to take now, but to recover every $1 that has been wasted for the past 15 years.
It's important that we as a Senate would develop a political will and come to a conclusion that it's not going to be another motion, that it is now that we are going to do something about this to save this country.
Mr. President, I must commend you. A lot needs to be done. And as I've said, this is one out of the numerous acts of the National Assembly that needs to be amended to shore up the revenue base of this nation.
The bill that needs to be amended is coming up for consideration for second reading, and I believe that what we need to do is to give it the most expeditious consideration ever, and of course we also pray that the executive will also give it an expeditious treatment, because this is one bill that when it is amended and signed will give us the 160 billion naira that is in the 2020 proposed for the 2020 budget.
The economic fortunes of Nigeria will receive a boost if the country pays close attention to its non-oil sector. Now, this is according to the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, and his Labour counterpart, Chris Ngige. Both men made the remarks while addressing journalists in Abuja. Take a listen.
We've done well as a nation. We have been able to bond ourselves together. We would have done better. We will definitely do better. But the signs are there that once we are able to diversify our economy, instead of depending on mono economy in terms of crude oil, and we go take up the prime aspect of agriculture, we go back into mining and other things, I believe that the future is great for this country. The youth of Nigeria can look forward to a better future under this president.
We don't need to all be lazy looking at petroleum and asking what petroleum can do for us. God has given us a brain, given us hands, given us fertile soil. So we should be able to maximize the material resources that are bound here and the human resources that are bound here. We have a lot of potential.
We'll now review activities on the stock market after this break. First day of trading for the month of October, and the NSE remains bearish, crashing further by 1.14%, and that's after the market began the week negative, dropping by 0.16% on Monday. The impact of this drop can be seen on the all-share index right here, which lost over 300 points at the close of trading. Also declining is the market capitalization, which moved from 13.450 trillion to 13.296 trillion, which is a loss of about 160 billion naira. Now, losses posted by major oil and gas stocks largely influenced the market turnover today. Mobil and Total suffered most from the bear drag seen in the market today, losing a combined 21 naira. It was also a bad day for Nigeria borrowers right here, and Guarantee Trust Bank, whose value dropped by 6.6 and 7.5% respectively. But despite this downtrend, some equities still managed to post gains, and the pack is led by Forte Oil, which recorded a 3.8% rise in value. It is closely followed by Flour Mill right here, and Nascon Allied PLC, as well as Continental, also made the gainers chart. Well, let's now look at the market summary. Over 175 million shares were traded on the floor of the market today, and they were all valued at 2.5 billion naira. Exchange hands in 3,539 deals. Let's now move to the foreign scene. That's outside Nigeria. The FTSE, Dow, and Nikkei are all falling, just like the NSE. 3.23%, 1.97%, and 0.49% respectively. That's how far they are dropping. Well, that's it from the world of business. It's back to Annetta.
Thanks for that update, Fidelia. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. A Rwandan military tribunal has charged 25 suspected members of a rebel group with attempt to topple the government in collaboration with a foreign government. The men who appeared in court include 3 who identify themselves as Burundian citizens, 2 who are Ugandans, and 1 who identified as a Malawian. The accused persons allegedly belong to Rwanda National Congress, RNC, an armed militia opposed to President Paul Kagame, which the government labeled as a terrorist organization. The charges attract between 25 years in prison and life imprisonment. The United Kingdom has published its Brexit proposals to the European Union, with Prime Minister Boris Johnson insisting on the October 31st exit, come what may. In a letter to the EU, Johnson conceded some custom checks will be needed in Ireland after Brexit, but suggested these can be done on a decentralized basis. The plan will see Northern Ireland essentially stay in the European single market for goods but leave the customs union. Government sources say they believed they could enter an intense 10-day period of negotiations almost immediately with the bloc, with the aim of coming to a final agreement at the EU Council in the middle of the month. All is set for the first racing championship in Nigeria, tagged Motorsport Auto Fiesta. The tournament is built to hold at the TBS race course in Lagos on Sunday, 6th October 2019. It will feature 3 events, namely go-kart, motorbikes, and cars. At a press conference, organizers of the event explains that it will help Nigeria become even more prominent in motorsport.
Everybody is aware of Formula One, but Formula One is just one part of motorsports. And on African terrain, the promotion of motorsports is very, very meager. However, we want to really make Nigeria to become a prominent motorsports country, not only in racing, but also on the entertainment part, and at the same time cultivate the culture within our youth and kids to develop interest in motorsports so that they can actually develop career paths within the sector and become important personalities within the sector.
You're now up to date to the latest around the world on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Anetta Philip. Thanks for watching.